Hi, it's Mr. C here, and I've got another storybook for you. This one is a fractured fairy tale. Fractured fairy tale is when an author takes a story like this one, Hansel and Gretel, and makes it silly and fun by changing it around, like in this one, Hansel and Pretzel. Hansel and Pretzel. Once upon a time, about 845, there lived a brother and a sister named Hansel and Pretzel. They lived with their parents near the deep dark woods. Every day, their dad would warn them, "Don't go into the deep dark woods." Every day, Hansel would ask, "Why not?" And every day their mom would answer, "Because you might get lost and meet the horrible witch who will eat you up." But, being a forgetful kid with a lousy sense of direction, Hansel did lead Pretzel into the woods, and they did get lost. "I think we're lost," said Pretzel. "No, we're not," said Hansel. He led Pretzel deeper into the dark woods. "I think we're lost," said Pretzel. "No, we're not," said Hansel. He led her still deeper into the deep, dark woods. "I think we're lost," said Pretzel. "I think you're right," said Hansel, and he began to cry. "Look," said Pretzel, "there's a cottage. I think it's the witch's." "No, it's not," said Hansel, running up to the cottage, which was made of gingerbread. "I think it's the witch's," said Pretzel. "No, it's not," said Hansel, biting into the doorknob. Suddenly, the door opened, and out stepped a witch with a nose like a pickle. "I think it's the witch," said Pretzel. "I think you're right," said Hansel, and he began to cry. "Why are you eating my doorknob?" shrieked the witch. Trick or treat?" said Pretzel. "Is it Halloween already?" asked the witch. "Yes," said Pretzel. "It was just Valentine's Day," exclaimed the witch. "Time flies," said Pretzel. "Well then, come on in, kids, and stay for dinner." "Well, maybe just a snack," said Pretzel. So Hansel and Pretzel went inside. They looked around. Spiders crawled in each corner, bats hung from every beam, and a big cage sat in the middle of the floor. "Who's your decorator?" asked Pretzel. "Me," boasted the witch. "What's for dinner?" asked Hansel. "You," shrieked the witch. "You don't want to eat him," pleaded Pretzel. "He's very thin." "Well," said the witch, "we'll just fatten him up." She shoved Hansel into the cage. Hansel looked out through the bars and began to cry. "Look on the bright side," joked Pretzel. "At least we're not lost anymore." The witch put Pretzel to work polishing the kettle, while every day she brought Hansel a piece of her house to eat. "Room service," she would cackle. One day she fed him the door, the next day the porch. Every day she felt his head to see if he was getting any fatter. But Pretzel, who was a quick thinker, gave Hansel a haircut every night. "Eat, eat," clucked the witch, shoving a gingerbread chimney into the cage. "Don't you have any cottage cheese?" asked Hansel. Weeks went by. The pot was getting shinier, and the witch was getting hungrier. Her stomach rumbled all night, and she grumbled all day. "You're eating me out of house and home, and you're not getting any fatter." "I'm going to cook you now," shouted the witch, lighting the fire. "Wok cooking is much healthier," said Hansel. "I'll give you a wok in the head," snorted the witch. Just then Hansel broke loose and ran around the pot. The witch chased him. "You're fast food," she gasped. "Bet you can't catch me," teased Hansel. "I don't play with my food," snarled the witch. As she leaned across the kettle to grab him, Pretzel quickly pushed her in. Splasho! "What have you done?" wailed the witch. "Don't get yourself into a stew," piped Pretzel. "We're having a slight change in the menu. It's potluck." "We can make sand witches," joked Hansel. "Or tea with an old bag." "What about witch's stew?" suggested Pretzel. "Witch's stew? What?" asked Hansel. "Witch's stew not scare me," chuckled Pretzel. Hansel and Pretzel finished eating the cottage, hopped on the broom, and flew home. "Where have you been?" cried their mum. "We just went to the corner to buy a broom," said Pretzel. "It's been 2 weeks," said their dad. "You didn't go into the deep, dark woods, did you?" "Not us," said Pretzel, crossing her fingers. "We didn't meet the horrible witch either," said Hansel, crossing his eyes. "You're lucky," said their dad. "She's supposed to be a real tough cookie." Pretzel smiled. "Oh, I don't know, Dad," she said. "I hear she's not such a bad egg." P.S. The witch stopped being hard-boiled, became a vegetarian, and opened a health food store. Mother's Earth's health food store. The end.